In terms of what the industry lacks right now, there are three big pieces that I can identify. And we know that there are a lot of different solutions that provide different specialized products to address these pieces. But one of the things that I think is really lacking in restoration is a kind of centralized, it's a centralized data set. So we don't really have a great idea how many restoration contracting companies there are. We have estimates, we've run the analytics, we understand kind of broad scale, but we don't really know exactly how many restorations companies there are in the country and around the world, because this is not a country, a US-centric industry, right? There's Australia as a major restoration market. Europe, any civilized area will have a restoration industry of some sort, whether it's marked that way or not. There is a tremendous number of restoration contractors in the world that either don't know that the technology solutions are there for them, for documentation, for job tracking, for CRM, for client relationship management. They don't know these solutions exist for them, and we don't know that they exist, so we can't tell them that these solutions exist for them, right? So there's no real central there's no real central database that we are aware of that has a tracking of all the restoration contractors in the country. And because of that, we also don't have as much granular understanding of what their pain points are and how they're functioning and how best they can optimize their business to grow and to scale and to provide more value to their community. Right? And that's what we want to help them ultimately do. We want you to grow and scale and provide value to your community, because that's why you got in this business in the first place. Right? Another thing that is majorly lacking, and we've seen a lot of people talk about AI in restoration, but AI in restoration really doesn't exist yet. And there's a couple reasons I say that. So there is the image recognition algorithms that we see from EagleView and from other vendors who are doing these kind of large-scale imagery for exteriors and Matterport and other vendors like that. They're doing a really great job at volumetric measurement and documenting these things with digital photography. And then they have image recognition things to identify different pieces here and there. But there is a missing link between where we are and a truly AI-powered restoration industry. And the difference is the best analogy I can make to that is the difference between where healthcare was pre-EMR and where healthcare is today after EMR. And the difference, again, this is showing my roots here, pre-EMR, all doctors and all hospitals worked on paper charts, right? If you were a patient that was at one hospital, the only way for a different hospital to get your information is your paper charts had to be either copied and sent over, or they had to be physically handled, picked up, and walked over to the other place. Right? And it was very difficult for that data transfer to happen in a meaningful way. And what happened? What was the result of that? People were misdiagnosed tremendously because the second hospital doesn't have the time to go through 300 pages of previous report in some cases, right? Or if it's an ER visit, you're in a different state, different country, different city even. They don't have your information, so they don't know what you're allergic to. They don't know what you've done before, what procedures you've had. And there was a tremendous amount of, not mismanagement, but misinformed management that was happening in healthcare. We are kind of at the same place here in restoration, where there's a lot of data that is available that would help drive business decisions for restoration contractors and for the industry as a whole, but we just don't properly utilize all that data. Right? So once that data is available to us, then we can use machine learning models to identify how to optimize these operations that we're doing. For example, in terms of AR, how do we optimize our receivables? Well, at what time should we follow up with the adjusters? At what times do we have to follow up with insurance? How do we identify that this document has enough documentation? Right? How do we know that we've reached a burden of proof for this insurance compared to another one? How do we know that this, how can we predict the estimated revenue for this property based on the other information that we have about the property? But more importantly, how can I limit the number of buttons I have to press to execute a task in my application? And today, in restoration, almost across the board, you have to click 20 different times to do just one thing. And that's if you're lucky and the thing is available in your platform, in the program you're using. More likely, you'll have to click through 4 different programs just to get the data you need to make an actionable decision. And that's 20 times 4 different programs, right? What if everything can be done during chat? Like you have a chat bot that's, you ask it a question, say, hey, what is my best performing locality? What is the best area code for me to do business in? What area code have I got the most revenue out of? What job has given me the most revenue? Which one is my top salesman, right? These are analytics that are very easily run if you spend dedicated time to run those analytics, assuming, of course, all your data is in one place. But you don't have clear answers to those things. You don't have clear visibility to your business most of the time, unless you have somebody dedicated to pulling these insights out at all times. Dashboards can only get you so far. You need to be able to ask a question in natural language and get an actual answer out of it.